Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 9. This is day 9 of me going live for 30 straight days. 30 straight days. Let me ask you this question. When's the last time you committed to something every single day for even 5 days, 10 days, 15, 20? What about 30? Anybody out there? Anybody out there committed and has successfully done something every single day for 30 days? You know what's funny? Every time you're like saying, I'm going to have a commitment and I'm going to do this thing, this pops up, that pops up, that pops up, that pops up. Another commitment that I made here in September and last week, I failed. I failed is I'm going to do 30 days of abs, 5 days a week. I wanted to do core, working on a six pack, I guess, in the winter. I don't know, but I just wanted to do something else. And last week, I didn't do it more than like one time. I got completely thrown off and I was like, oh, but here's what I did. Instead of beating myself up, I said, you know what? We're going to extend it for a week. My mind was not that I wasn't even thinking of doing core because my gym game got thrown off last week with a bunch of stuff that came into the mix. But I failed. I failed. And instead of beating myself up, I said, you know what? We're just going to extend it for a week. And that's okay. But when it comes to these lives, I'm telling you, like, this is something where I was like, this is going to be challenging. Something's going to come up in the morning, but I made it at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. So I was like, very little would be able to come into play. There might be a few traveling trips coming up where I have to adjust and go live earlier for the simple fact of I might be on an airplane or I might be somewhere else that I wasn't expecting. But you know what? When the unexpected comes, when you make a plan, what do? Pivot. You don't get mad. You don't get frustrated. You pivot. That took me a long time to learn, y'all. Anybody else? Like being flexible took me a long time to learn because I'm like, I got a plan. Here's the plan. And here's like all like where the plan's going to go. So anyways, I feel like that was for somebody. That was a little tangent. Today, we're going to be talking about stewarding your business. These are for my entrepreneurs out there. This one is for you. If you're not an entrepreneur, there's probably some really good lessons that are in here for you. Because maybe you don't have a business, but you have a side hustle. You have something that you want to build. You have something. Like there's usually something inside of somebody where they want to sell something, share something because they're passionate about it. They love it. They know other people can utilize it. And it truly comes out of that place of I have something that I want to give to other people and I want to turn it into a business. So stewarding your business, I'm very excited to dive in on this. And when I was like, okay, Lord, what do we want to talk about when it comes to stewarding your business? Because there's a lot of different angles. First of all, what he's put in your hands, it is up to you to grow that thing. The seed is planted. You have to make sure that the seed gets watered, that the weeds get pulled, that it gets sunlight, and it's able to have the right environment to grow. First and foremost, a seed without the right environment will not last. If you scattered seed in the middle of the road, it's not going to take root and bloom whatever it's supposed to bloom. If you scattered seed on rock, it is going to just sit there on the rock, probably shrivel up and blow away because it cannot take root in rock. But when you plant seed in the right soil, and not only the right soil, it has to be watered, has to be nurtured, the weeds have to get pulled, and the sunlight needs to be there. And every once in a while, there's some bugs. There's some bugs you got to get rid of, and they're trying to just take you out, take the seed out. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. You, in this instance, you are the seed, and the environment matters. So once the vision is birthed to you, now it's up to you to be like, okay, who do I need to become in order to steward this? So I want to start there first. A lot of us have been given visions. And sometimes we get these like head scratching, what do I do with that one? I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have this and that. We start thinking of the things we don't have. Why not start thinking of the things that you do have? And maybe be like, okay, Lord, like you gave me this vision. You gave me this idea. Like, what's next? He's not giving it to us so we freak out and go figure it out on our own. He's giving it to us as an invitation of this is going to be bigger than you, and we get to do this together. Have you ever thought about your business that way? Ever? Whether you're in network marketing, you're a coach, you're in affiliate marketing, I mean, whatever. You have your own gardening business, roofing business. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about that? Every business is a way to serve somebody else. Every business is a way to serve somebody else. Now, how people choose to serve, that's another thing entirely. How people choose to lead, that's another thing entirely. And we won't go off on those tangents because I could be on here pretty long for that. But have you ever looked at that? That dream and vision is something that's bigger than you, and it's an invitation. Your vision is an invitation to partner with him to do it, to draw you in, to draw you close, to be able to help get you to the place that you need to be to steward what he's put inside of you. It's already possible. It's already possible because he's never going to leave your side, and it is possible through him. Point blank, period. Maybe you're listening to this. You're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I don't even know Jesus. Well, lean in and listen. This is going to be so good, I promise, because it's an invitation of you don't have to do it alone. The only reason a lot of people, most people are comfortable doing things alone is because they know what they can do. They can rely on themselves. But once you bring in somebody else, that leaves a whole open gate of possible failure, mess, expectations not met, like a lot of different things. But you know what? When those things happen, they used to really bother me in business. I'm like, I hate depending on other people. Like I literally would say that. But you know what I've had to learn and have just knock me in the face over and over? Allow people the space and give them the grace to mess up, to learn. I've used this example before. It's like for a kid, right? You say the stove is hot. The kid won't take your word for it. They want to figure it out on their own. They're like, oh, okay, mom's supposed to say that. Dad's supposed to say that until they touch it. And they're like, never doing that again. They have to learn. You can't mitigate pain. You can't mitigate lessons that need to be learned because the biggest learning lessons are the things where we failed or we learned the hard way or it was always supposed to happen because it's going to refine your character. That's a big part of stewarding business. A lot of people are like, oh, I've been given this thing. I want to get this title and then I can boss people around. Come on. Like dictatorship is so like 1990s. Some people still are on that trip right now, and that train is coming to an end. You're getting booted because people need leadership. People crave leadership. They crave real leadership. They are starving for it. And that's one of the things, that's one of our main pillars here that we have here at Kingdom Alliance is building leaders that build leaders. It's a very big thing that we do here because it is so necessary. There's so many leaders out there that don't want to pass the torch, that don't want to show other people because it's hard. Yeah, of course it's hard. Don't you think Jesus had a time or two where he was like, okay, like I get to do this, but this might be a little difficult when he was teaching the 12 disciples. If I was Jesus, there have been plenty of times I was frustrated. Peter, why'd you do this? Blah, 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 blah. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? Judas, why'd you do this? But he is so full of grace and he is the ultimate leader to follow. Ultimate. If you don't believe in Jesus as your Lord and Savior, but you want to grow as a leader, like Jesus is the ultimate leader. And hold on, I got a book back here for you. Hold on, I'm finding it. Dang it. Here it is. Right here. It's backwards. Jesus CEO, using ancient wisdom for visionary leadership. I'm telling you, Jesus CEO. This right here, they're like little page excerpts. And it just gives you like so many little just whoop, 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 like bite-sized chunks. One of the best lessons I learned in this book, Jesus CEO. Again, this is great for leaders because he is the ultimate leader. Was talking about energy leaks. This is a little bit of a tangent, but has everything to do with your business. There are people, there are things that are energy leaks. Mostly, let's talk about people. There are people that are energy leaks. You know those people. All they do is complain, always bring in problems, no solutions. Like just that negative energy. Or people, when they call and their name pops up, you're like, yeah, we're going to ignore that one for a little bit. Like, when energy leaks come. And you know what? Every life has energy leaks, every life. But how you choose to respond to it It's completely up to you. Will dictate how much energy you let leak out. Or sometimes you got to protect that energy and you're like, I got to block that for now. I got to get back to that later because right now I have to stay focused. You have to be disciplined. Stewarding your business has a lot to do with discipline, a lot. And there's a lot of energy leaks. Again, Jesus CEO, amazing book, great for leadership. Amazing for leadership. So stewarding your business. Again, I love talking about business. Like this is something that on my podcast, it's bigger than me. Love geeking out on business. Most of the people I interview are business owners, and they all have incredible stories of what they've had to sacrifice in order to get to where they are, to build what they've built. And the testing and the fire, the refiner's fire is real. It is real. And a lot of people are like, gosh, I don't see anybody else going through this. They're just not talking about it, but it's real. Listen to my podcast. You'll hear a lot of guests that go through the fire, but they haven't been stopped because what God has ordained, the enemy cannot stop. He's going to try. He's going to try, but try all you want. You chose the wrong one. That's how I wake up every day. You chose the wrong one. Probably ticks him off. If I was the enemy, I'd be pretty ticked. But I literally am like, you chose the wrong one. Next, keep moving. Keep moving. Focused, focus, focus. Because once you get like attuned to his schemes, you're just like, all right, bye. So yeah, somebody needs that one. I already know. So I want to talk about some things that I found because I have so many notes on my phone from podcasts, from people that I look up to, from different lives that I listen to. Just a bunch of different things. I jot my notes down all the time. The note section of my phone is bananas. And I typed in business this morning, and this is what came up. And these are all benefits of stewarding your business. This is what comes when you steward your business. You become the person you need to be for the vision that was given to you. So then you can serve more people. And the more we do that, you guys, the less it becomes about us and the more it becomes about the people we serve. Yes, of course, we need to get paid. Yes, of course, there's things that impact us. But when the focus is on serving other people and how can I be effective, efficient, and then it's a win-win for everybody, definitely think about the win-win. That is huge. A lot of people, I hear this all the time, tangent, but it's going to be worth it. Oh, I just want to help people, but it's really not about the money. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not about the money? And they're like, oh, well, I just want to serve people. And do you want to get paid? Do you have bills to pay? Yes. Okay, then it is about the money. Most people that say, I want to serve over getting paid, they do not understand what their value is. And if you don't understand your value, there is very little margin for other people to even understand why they should purchase something from you because they feel that. They feel that energy exchange. When I was a coach, I used to talk about this all the time. Like, you are expensive. You are expensive. When you think about the pricing, this is for all my coaches that set your own pricing for people, business coaches, life coaches, clutter coaches. I mean, you name it. There's a bunch of y'all out there. Leadership coaches, speaker coaches. You have to understand that you are expensive. The accumulation of all of your experience is expensive and is a major shortcut for the people that are learning from you. When I was in the coaching industry, when I was stewarding the vision that God gave me for that business at that time, I was so stoked. I was stoked to be able to serve people in this way. And luckily, I put myself in an environment where I learned from one of the best. If you want an incredible business coach and strategist, Adam Flores, shameless plug, brother-in-law, amazing when it comes to helping you really scale your business. Especially in this digital climate and everything. He is the most up to date on all the things. Like he is literally the real deal and such a kingdom man. So shameless plug for my brother-in-law. But before he was my brother-in-law, I worked with him inside of his digital marketing agency and I learned from the best. And then when I realized when I was working in there doing marketing and sales, I was like, wait a second, I have a business that I need to create. People need to learn how to be a more effective speaker. If people can talk more effectively, have more impact with less words and communicate that to the people that they want to serve, then they're going to be able to make more money. I need to be able to create my own coaching business. So I did. And I did this, how many years ago now? I was doing it maybe 5-6 years ago, something like that. Anyways, so when I did that, because of all my experience being on television, going live repetitively every day, what it took for me to get in the door of that station, the amount of stories I got to cover, the experience that I garnered, like being on TV isn't something that most people do, right? That experience of being an on-air personality, reporter, anchor, I did weather, I did sports, I did a lot of things. You can't buy that. Most people don't have that. So when it came for me to price my packages when I was a coach, back when I was coaching, I want you to hear this, I would have packages no less than $5,000. And eventually for them to work one-on-one with me, it was 15 to 25, depending on the package. Or if somebody wanted a retainer for the whole year, that was usually around 75K. You heard me right. You heard me right. I included a lot of feedback in there, meetings, in person, online, really in the trenches with them, really helping them hone in their voice. And on top of that, I used to do a lot of business coaching in there because I also learned that my brother-in-law's digital marketing agency when I worked there, and really helping people set up their programs and be able to, how can we scale this from here? And really being able to build their network so they can build their net worth. And then how do you speak to that network, right? So I used to charge a lot of money, a lot, but you cannot take away the experience that I had. And you can't tell me what that costs. And people would pay my prices. They would. Here's what I came to find out. Here comes this vision for another business that the Lord gave to me of, you know what? I know you love this coaching thing, but this is going to get capped, and it's going to get capped very quickly. And I know you don't want that. Literally, this was going on in my head. And then he gave me a vision of my future daughter tugging on my sweater saying, mommy, come play with me. And I'm like, sorry, honey, mommy has to be at her computer. She's working right now, but I'll come later. Broke my heart. That's not why I'm building a business, to be away from my kids, right? And to be glued to my computer. But that was my trajectory when my coaching business was whoosh, it's like that rocket emoji. So he gave me this idea of creating a community where you can get access to multiple different kingdom experts. He being in the middle. He gave me that. And I was thinking, like, how am I going to build this thing? In walks my now business partner, Michelle Schaefer. Then we created, back then it was called Girl Power Alliance. And now we have men and women, and we're rebranding. And on October 2024, it'll officially be Kingdom Alliance everywhere, where it is a platform where people can grow personally and professionally. They have access to hundreds of on-demand trainings, live mentorship and training calls. And then we have our certifications in leadership and speaking, and more coming this October. So it's a place you can learn from over 100 different experts. And you can even be certified as a speaker and a leadership coach. And all these different voices that are experts in their area and have no problem putting God at the center of their business. And whether you believe in God or not, these are just good people that want to treat people well and want to see you thrive and succeed. And all of it is a win-win for everybody. Like, that is a community I prayed for like 5-6 years ago. So I left, not voluntarily, it was hard. I left the coaching business that I created, making more income than I've ever made in my life, to build this thing from scratch. For years, us as a corporate team, not paying ourselves to reinvest back into the business to build something that was way bigger than us, way bigger. So I went from one dream to one business to another business, really from a dream to a dream. The second one involved people, other people, wasn't just myself. Hear me when I say this. You can go fast alone, but you can go further together. You have to know, what is that going to look like for your business? Now, for a lot of you coaches, you may love doing the one-on-one thing, and that's amazing. But it's also important to be a part of a community. It's also important to have leverage. It's also important to get plugged in and filled up. A lot of coaches get ego and pride just flares up of like, oh no, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm busy with my own thing. So what you're telling me is that you are telling your people they need to be filled, but you're pouring out of an empty cup. Is that what you're saying? Ooh, yeah. Been there. You can give me all the talk because I used to give it. I used to share it until I was like, this vision came. So stewarding the business that you have is so important, no matter what it is. Some of you may have done multiple. Some of you have never maybe started one before. Being in the right environment is key. Stewarding the vision is key. And understanding this may not be your forever. You might pivot. I had no idea I was going to leave my coaching business full-time to pivot to here. Luckily, inside of Kingdom Alliance, We have our Kingdom Speaker Academy, which I'm a coach in. I have dozens of courses when it comes to speaking, networking, building your influence, different things like that. So it still gets to live on and serve other people, just in a different capacity, a one-to-many capacity, which I believe every coach needs. Every person needs that leverage, and you can earn from that. So if that interests you, let me know, because that is what our community is quite literally all about. But let me get to these points. And I have a list, y'all. This list is deep. When you steward your business, when you do it and really steward your growth to be able to lead this business, here are some of the byproducts that you're going to get. Here are some of the things as a result of you stewarding your business. Here are some of the things. I got a whole list on my phone. You see this list? Increased confidence, build relationships, real relationships, raising your profile, raising your influence, access to more resources, collaboration possibilities, emotional support. You'll find other people where you really connect with. Increased referral business. Everybody wants that. Building a strong network. Networking increases your confidence too, by the way. Increased visibility. We all want that. Understanding different perspectives. When you're stewarding your business, you are going to come across other perspectives that you probably didn't think of. Don't immediately cancel them out. Be open and see if there's truth in there. A couple more. You'll advance your career, advance your business, of course. Build communication skills and abilities. Build your reputation. More business building opportunities, or even bringing business builders into your business. Goals achieved. We all want that one. You get to serve more people. You get to create lifelong friendships. And you have access to next level knowledge when you steward your business. Plus, last one, here's the extra, double cherry on top. On top of all this, when you're stewarding your business and you really bring God into it to do this with you, in addition to all of that, and that was like over like 20 things, plus the master's multiplication. Multiplication from God is unmatched. Unmatched. We think of multiplication, we're like, okay, maybe 2x, 5x, 100,000x is nothing to him. And when you're obedient and you steward what he's given to you, the multiplication will be unmatched. So I hope somebody really caught what I shared on that list. Maybe a couple of those stood out. Feel free, if you're listening, go back. If you're watching the replay, type them out in the chat. Some of y'all have done that for me when I've listed things. Thank you. So nice. If I get a chance, I'll try to put it in the chat. But since this is streamed on YouTube and LinkedIn and multiple Facebook profiles and pages and different places, podcast, all the things, it's kind of hard for me to get all the places. It's a lot. But I hope that you are hearing of all of the pluses of stewarding your business. It's not meant to be done alone. It's not meant to just be you and where you're at right now. We get to grow. We get to increase in all these different areas. And a lot of which I've listed. I know every business owner I know wants all that and more. They really do. Now, how do I get that? How do I get that? First question is like, okay, what do I need to do to steward my business? Now, I did look it up. I typed in Google. I said, okay, Google, tell me, what does it look like to steward your business? What does it mean? And this is what Google gave me. And these are also really good too, because Google now has like this AI software. And I was just curious on what it was going to say. And it said, stewarding a business means taking responsibility for the business and its impact on the world beyond the bottom line. It involves considering values, ethics, and morals. And it also said, here are some ways to steward some ways that you can steward your business. Brand stewardship. This is the process of protecting and taking ownership of your brand or the company's brand that you represent. A brand is an intangible sum that includes a company's reputation, pricing, packaging, and more. Really embodying that and standing behind it and putting it out there. Number 2, corporate stewardship. This may go to some, maybe not all, but people that are, the CEOs of their own business, or maybe you're a part of corporate or something along those lines. Corporate stewardship. This is the idea that corporations have the responsibility to act as stewards of the earth and humanity. This includes making responsible use of resources, providing meaningful employment, and distributing wealth equitably. So that's typically for corporate companies. But hey, that might be for somebody here. And the last one is stewarding the ownership. This is a concept that has been implemented by companies, many companies all around the world, big ones. It can help startups, medium-sized businesses, large corporations to create sustainable structures for the future. So really understanding what that ownership can look like. So a couple different ways I can see ownership is obviously in corporate companies, distributing ownership so then you can treat the people who built this thing with you well, right? So maybe you have a business and you've hired some employees, treat them well. Treat them well. Go above and beyond. So many people are trying to squeeze out of people. Maybe you're a manager or a general manager or a regional manager of a business, and your employees are kind of looking a little sad. Like, do something extra for them. Starbucks is on me. Lunch is on me. Hopefully the company will pay for it and it doesn't come out of your pocket. But when you invest into people, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. You also taking ownership in your own business of really understanding, okay, what is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to build? Like truly, do I want to build something that I cannot vacation from? Do I want to build something where I can do this in the cracks of my life? Do I want to build something where later on I want to sell it? I mean, these are all big questions, right? But I hope it's helpful to just open that up, because once we open it up and we allow ourselves to kind of seep into it and just like really think, then things will be highlighted to us. But so often, so many of us are reactive versus proactive. Like, no, thank you. I mean, I can't be proactive for everything, but I try to be as much as possible because I hate being reactive. My reactive, reaction is usually not the best. And I really try to work on that because I'm just like, I don't like being caught off guard. And sometimes people call it, I have the news reporter face, where I'm just kind of like, because sometimes you just you got to hide it. I wear my emotions on all over. You guys have seen that on these lives. Very expressive. But I always do my best to be proactive versus reactive. How can I be proactive about the situation? But there's many situations where you have to be reactive, but how you choose to react and remain calm and remain positive as much as possible is absolutely key. Easier said than done, obviously, but still, it's the goal, right? So let me know what's standing out to you. Let me know what you're learning from any of the lives so far. Again, this is day 9. We got many more days to go, 21 to be exact, because we're going live for 30 straight days. But I hope this is helpful when it comes to stewarding your business. I've been in business for myself and building businesses for, at this point, nearly a decade. So I've had a lot of different, I've had a nutrition and fitness business. I've, network marketing, which is a part of somebody else's, but, basically it's kind of like a virtual franchise, right? And building teams. Been in my own coaching business, and we are still building Kingdom Alliance. And I'm sure there's going to be more in the future to be able to invest and reinvest and create jobs and just be able to have things that are way bigger than me. Because I'm definitely a serial entrepreneur for sure. For sure. But right now, focus is absolutely key. Focus is always key. And until one thing is successfully done and moving, don't move on to something else. But if you're moving on to this, that, and the other thing and having multiple things going because you're not satisfied, you need to pick one and zone in. You can have multiple interests, but where's your focus going? We're going to end with that. All right, everyone. We will see you tomorrow for day 10. Bye, everybody.